Can everyone hear me? I can't believe you guys played that video in front of the parents. This is going to be the highlight of my career. I'm going to go back and tell my mom this. In a room full of parents. I usually never give a talk when there are parents around because they hate me. Because the kind of things that I will say right now, they think that I'm misleading you all. But you know what? Don't listen to your parents. Listen to me. Okay, so how's it going, Paradise? Come on, man, it's a graduation. You can do better than that. Wow, we're gonna do this one last time, right? Now we're gonna make this reach the sky. Yeah, you ready? How's it going, Paradise? That's what I'm talking about. Alright, so throughout my life, everyone around me, right, they used to always tell me this one word: Varun, you gotta think. You're not thinking, nothing's gonna happen. You gotta think. But I soon realized that this one word is causing me more harm than anything else, right? I know, right? And then I came across, and I soon realized that these two words are really helping me do what I want to do. So I'm gonna tell you guys my story and tell you how these two words have really helped me in my life. So, when I was in school, because I used to think a lot, I didn't end up doing anything at all. But then, in the 11th standard, I became extremely fascinated by filmmaking. The fact that you can take a small little handycam and show the rest of the world what's inside your head, I thought that was pretty cool. So, I picked up my handycam and started making short films with my mom, my dog, my cat, whoever was willing to act in them, and started showing it to whoever was willing to watch them. Then, at the end of my 12th standard, I came up with this really stupid idea that I should be a professional filmmaker. Stupid because in India, if you want to be anything other than an engineer or a doctor, you're considered to be a terrorist, right? So I walked up to my mom and obviously her best friend, AUNTY, that you've just seen now, to tell them that I want to be a filmmaker. So who's AUNTY? AUNTY is that friend of your mom's who's more interested in your life than alone. And she's always more interested in what you're doing, when you're going to live, when you're going to die, when you're going to get married, when you're going to finish your degree, what you're going to do next, right? And she's probably the worst influence of your life. So I walked up to my mom and her best friend AUNTY, and I told them I want to be a filmmaker. And obviously the moment they heard that, this is the expression they gave me. They were like, what? Filmmaking, what is that? Is that even a profession? More importantly, they made me do this, that maybe I won't be a successful filmmaker, maybe I won't make enough money, maybe I won't succeed at all, maybe I won't get any dowry. So this one word caused a lot of harm because it got me into this. Now, not that I have anything against engineering, but I hated it. Every minute, every second, I just couldn't understand anything in engineering. But in engineering, something really magical happened. For the first time in my life, I failed. Up until then, I'd been an above average student and I never failed in my life. But for the first time in engineering, I failed. And I realized that when you fail in something that you don't like, then you don't have to now do things that others expect of you. I don't know if you guys know this, but if you fail, Indian parents act like they don't know you, right? I still remember that there is this one very sadistic pleasure that Indian parents have, is that they think every time their friends come over, you need to have an Indian idol at your house, right? Or you need to parade their children, and whatever talent they have, they got to show it to their family, friends, and whoever's around, right? So some people can dance, some people can sing. My parents' only hope for me was that I could show something academically. But now that I've failed, I was never called to meet the family friends anymore. That's the best feeling in the world, right? So I decided that I'm going to stop thinking so much and, going to start focusing on what I really like doing. It was right then that I discovered how to find what you're passionate about. And it's a very simple secret, how to find what you're passionate about. Is there something that you love doing that you can't wait for somebody else to teach you? So you learn it yourself, and you become so good at it that you can now teach somebody else. Do you guys get that?
Yes.
Is there something that you want to learn so desperately that you can't wait for somebody else to teach you, so you learn it yourself, and you become so good at it that you can now teach somebody else? And for me, that was filmmaking. And it was at the same time I realized that, you know, being really passionate about something is the only way you can truly love what you do and be happy doing that. It's like, you know, when you have a crush on someone. Do any of you guys have ever had a crush on someone? Yeah. I like how this section is fully quiet. They're like, what is that? You never heard of that. So what happens, like, when you have a crush on someone, right? You suddenly start watching Titanic again with even more intensity. You start listening to all of these Arijit Singh songs where you imagine that your crush and you've broken up with her and now you're heartbroken. I remember that a similarity between having a crush and discovering a passion when I was in college. When I realized that when you're passionate about something, your personality changes, right? Just like when you have a crush on someone. The worst thing you can do when you have a crush on someone is to tell your friends about it. Because your friends think it's their God-given duty to make you and your crush meet and make you guys girlfriend-boyfriend, right? So I made the mistake of telling my friends in the first year of college that I have a crush on this girl, and they decided that we're going to make something happen. So they figured that the girl walks every Thursday at 11 a.m. down the corridor, so I will also walk, you know, I will bump into her, the books will fall, we look at each other's eyes. Yeah, I mean, these were days before Facebook, Instagram. That was the only way you could talk to a girl, right? You didn't even have phones back then. This is way back in 2004. So now because we're engineers, we started drawing, you know, charts. We decided what my speed and acceleration is going to be. Everyone is planning. Soon the whole college is coming to know about this. I think even the principal was ready to see what's going to happen. So the day of the event comes, and I see like the entire corridor is lined by people on the left and the right. And I'm like, dude, what are you guys doing? This is supposed to be a secret. The entire college knows about this. They're like, no, don't worry. They're just here, you know, for other things. Don't worry about it. You just go do your thing. Let's just see what happens. We won't get this chance again. And the time came, and I was really, really nervous. And then she started walking, and I saw her. And then they were like, this is your cue. Start walking. And then I started walking, and I got so nervous. I ran, and I banged straight into her, and I ran away. It was the most embarrassing moment of my life. But it taught me something. That when you're passionate about something, when you think from the heart, right, you learn to take risks. You learn to take risks which you wouldn't have otherwise ever taken. So I decided that I'm going to pick up my handycam again and I'm going to make my short films. Now in 2006, when you made films, you had to put them on a VCD, put it on a VCD player and force 10 people to watch it, right? That's how difficult it was to get people to watch your content. Then in 2006, you know, I'm surfing the internet, and I see this website. It has one red button on it. It says, if you use this red button, you can upload your videos and the entire world can watch your videos. And I was like, wow, this is what I've been waiting for. Obviously that website is now known as youtube.com. But imagine back then what a godsend that was. So I started uploading all my videos on YouTube in 2006. And soon people across the world started watching it and started telling me, hey, you're really good at it and you should keep at it. And that's when I realized that the real motivation happens when somebody you've never met, never spoken to, never heard of, tells you that you're good at something. So I started uploading my videos, and soon companies started noticing that, and they started giving me actual work to make videos for them. And I started making money off it while in college. So in the first year of college, I started my first company, Last Minute Films, because everything in engineering happens at the last minute. So I thought this was the perfect name to name the company. And surprising thing was, because of my videos, 1 year later, this rock band in Bombay called Pentagram, they asked me to make a music video for them. I make that music video, we upload that on YouTube. It becomes one of the first viral videos in India. It gets about 1 lakh views. And then this production company in Bombay actually invites me and gives me a job as a music video director. And this is what I wanted, right? But I was still in my 3rd year of college, so I called my mom and I told them I'm dropping out and obviously AUNTY always happens to be around. And she's like, what? No, you need to come back, finish your engineering, and then we will see. So I come back. I finish one long, torturous year of engineering. But the moment I finish that, I tell my mom, I need 2 years. Just give me 2 years, and I'm going to try everything I need to do to prove that I can make something of myself. If at the end of 2 years I amount to nothing, I'm going to listen to exactly what you want me to do. Everything, whatever you want me to do, I'm going to do. And she said, okay, fine, you have 2 years, go and try everything that you want, and after that, you listen to me. So we had a deal. I took a one-way bus ticket to Bombay, and I landed up in that production company's office, and I asked them if they still have the job for me. Surprisingly, they did. But what was even more crazy and cool was that, 1 month after that, they sent me to Chennai to direct Mr. Rahman in a promo. And here I am, 21-year-old, just out of engineering, and I'm supposed to direct Mr. Rahman. It's the first thing I realized? While we're in school and college, we're always taught to feel inferior in front of celebrities or people who've accomplished more than us, right? Don't ever, ever, ever do that. No matter what, you're going to be really, really successful one day. So just because you have practiced this long monologue in front of the mirror, I thought, on the day of the shoot, I'm going to narrate this monologue. She'll be so impressed. She'll want to marry me. So I'm like all set. The day of the shoot comes. I'm like, all geared up. I remember what Mr. Rahman told me. Don't look at them as celebrities. Don't look at them as, somebody else. Look at them as regular people. I go to the trailer van. I walk into the shoot, and I go to a trailer van, and I'm like, hey Preeti, and I narrate my entire monologue with all the confidence that I had. She hears everything, every word of it, right? And then, when it's over, she tells me, but who's the director? And I said, I'm the director, and she refused to believe I was the director, and she thought we were playing a prank on her. Now, imagine my plight. I have a movie star, a crew of 40 people who are twice my age, and about 20 kids, and I'm supposed to be their boss. And I'm supposed to tell them what to do. And it was the scariest moment of my life. But what really helped me through it was this line from this book called We Bought a Zoo, in which it says, sometimes in life, in order to succeed, all you need is 20 seconds of courage. So, if in the first 20 seconds, you can make up your mind that I'm going to do this, your brain follows through and you actually end up doing it. For example, if any of you have a fear of public speaking, and if I call you up here to speak, but if in the first 20 seconds you get scared, you're not going to be able to speak. But if in the first 20 seconds you make up your mind that I'm going to speak, you'll actually end up speaking whatever it is that you want to speak. So there's this famous scene from the movie that was made from the book, in which Matt Damon is walking down the street and he sees this really pretty girl sitting in a coffee shop. And he's like, wow, I have two options. Walk straight, or go up to the coffee shop and say, I think you look pretty. Now, ideally, what would most people do? Just walk straight, right? But he's like, let me try 20 seconds of courage. So he goes inside and he's really nervous, and it's like 18, 19. By the 5th second, he walks up to her and he says, hey, I just saw you sitting down here and I just thought you were really pretty and I just wanted to come and tell you that. Turns out the girl is having a really bad day and she says, that's the nicest thing anybody's told me all week. Would you like to join me for a cup of coffee? They end up having coffee, they end up falling in love, they end up getting married. Don't try this in India, you'll get slapped. But what I'm trying to say is that 20 seconds of courage is something that's very, very powerful. And you will need that. You guys have to understand, in the real world, there is only one currency, and that currency is confidence. You can have all the degrees in the world, you can have all the academic marks, and you can have all of that. But in the real world, it all comes down to confidence. How you present yourself, how confident you are about your own self, and that's the only way you can grow. So don't ever forget, self-confidence is your most important key to success. After that, I decided that I'm going to come back to Bangalore for a break, and I came back to Bangalore, and that's when accidentally the second part of my journey started. So my friend and I, we were sitting in this bar called Noon Wines. We were getting drunk, and we were missing school. We went to this school called Bishop Cotton's, and we thought we should get sweatshirts with the word Cottonian made on it. But I mean, you guys won't know this, and I do not advocate drinking at all, but when two guys get drunk, suddenly everything is possible, right? We're like, oh bro, we should start the next big billion-dollar company, and this is what we're going to do, and we're going to, you know, make sure every school and college we can make sweatshirts for. So while we were drunk, on a piece of tissue paper, we wrote down our grand business plan to make merchandise for every school and college in this country. Damn stupid idea, considering in 2009 there was no entrepreneurship to speak of. People were not buying online. There was no e-commerce. Worst of all, my friend and I had zero business experience. But usually these ideas die out the next day with a hangover. But we decided we're going to make it work because we loved our school so much. If we tell Anu, Auntie and Mom about this, this is what's going to happen. But we didn't know anything about running a business. You know, where will you get your t-shirts from? What do you know about e-commerce? Nothing that there is to know about running a business. The problem was that this is what most people would do, right? They would come up with a lot of thinking and then eventually decide that they can't do it because the overthinking does it. But we had this old friend, so we decided to go for this. Let me tell you this one thing, 4 years of engineering, and they didn't teach me the most important thing you need to know to survive in the real corporate world, and that is just one software, Microsoft Excel. Your entire education comes to nothing unless you know Microsoft Excel. Nothing that you've learned will make that much of an impact without Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel is the most important piece of software that you will ever use. And if you want to succeed in life, unfortunately in the real world, it's mostly Microsoft Excel. So we decided that, you know, we're going to just not think too much about the business idea and just go ahead with it. So we found a manufacturer friend in Tripur. He decided to make some samples for us. We took permission from the principal of Bishop Cotton's to show up at the Old Boys Day to show our samples to see if anybody's interested. The first 2 hours nobody was interested, but then people started to notice, and we ended up selling more than 2,500 sweatshirts in the very first day. And this is how it looked. And that's when we knew that we had a business in hand. The best part was when all of these Cantonians started wearing their sweatshirts and started moving around town, students from other schools got insecure and they started asking, where do you get that from? And that really helped us because now we knew that we had a credible business on our hands. That's when we knew that we had to start an online e-commerce company so that we can reach students of every school and college in this country. So in 2009, we launched almamatterstore.in with the sole aim of making merchandise for students of school and colleges across the country. And that is when all the problems started. Why? Because I was scared. Will I succeed? Will I make it? Or will I fail really badly? Will I lose a lot of money? Will I be not able to make a career out of this? What really got me to that point was a very simple thought. And this is one thought that you guys should keep in your mind all your life. In the next 60 to 70 years, every single person sitting right here is going to be dead. In the next 99 years, every single human being that you've ever known is going to be dead. That's the only truth about being a human. And that's the only reality we live in. So the next time you're scared about following your dreams, the next time you're scared about actually doing what you love, always remember that every single day you get one step closer to death. You get one shot at life and make it work, because each and every one of us is born with a unique gift or a unique talent. God never intended all of us to be the same. We're not supposed to be a factory. Each and every one of us has a unique talent, and each and every one of us has a unique gift. Your responsibility in this life is to find that gift or to find that talent and to go after it, no matter what. And only if you do that can India become the country that we truly are and are supposed to. So I realized, you know what, we're going to give this a shot. I failed in engineering, nothing bad happened. Anu Aunty obviously called me a t-shirt salesman. She was not very happy about this. She tried her best to stall this business idea and even convince my mom to get me married off so I'll stop thinking about this business idea. But then things began to change. And I remember we couldn't hire people because people weren't willing to work for two 21-year-olds. When we would go to colleges to collaborate, people thought that I've come for admission. And it was really, really hard in the beginning, but then things began to change for us. And we got covered on the cover of India Today and all the newspapers and magazines. And in just 3 years, we grew the company from zero to $1 million in revenue. Worked with over 5,000 schools and colleges in over 300 different cities in India, with absolutely no business knowledge. But I can tell you now that success is not measured by money or like a big car or a bank balance. Trust me, that is not success. You know what success for us was? We were sitting in that same bar 2 years later, and randomly one random kid walked past us wearing the Kidonian sweatshirt. And just sitting there and looking at him and thinking, this is where we came up with the idea, and this is a reality now, and that kid is wearing the sweatshirt that we conceptualized. Just that one moment is success. And I urge each and every one of you to find that one moment, because that one moment will drive you for life. In the meantime, we kept YouTube running, and we got through over 10 million views on our YouTube channel. And can you believe that one website with a red button killed the biggest invention of the 21st century, which is television? That's how fast the world is moving, and that's how fast careers are changing. An average YouTuber right now makes about 1 to 3 lakhs a month. That's what an IIM graduate makes, right? And a really premium YouTuber can earn in crores. That's where YouTube has gone, and that's the kind of professions that are out there. Please remember, the world is moving at a breakneck speed. There used to be a company called Nokia, which was worth about $50 billion 10 years ago. It's worth nothing now, right? There are many more companies that were worth billions of dollars, but are actually worth nothing now. Careers are changing faster than you can imagine. So don't focus on the career, focus on what you're good at. If you're good at something, you'll always find a career for that. Now I come to an interesting part of my journey, which is AUNTY. This AUNTY character was always like a pain in the ass, right? So, you know, I decided to do something about it. So I decided I'm going to write a blog about AUNTY. So I wrote a blog about AUNTY, and then there was all these kids who started writing back to me saying, bro, your AUNTY is just like my AUNTY, you know, and this is great. And I was like, wow, yeah, there's so many AUNTYs out there. And this one guy suggested, bro, you should write a book about AUNTY. And I was like, wow, how do you write a book? So I went on Google and I typed how to write a book, and it said, open Microsoft Word and start typing, because that's the only way you write a book. So I opened Microsoft Word and I started typing, and I needed 50,000 words to write a book, which is all the words I've ever written in my entire life combined. But I'm like, AUNTY is such a strong motivation, right? Let me give it a shot. So I start writing, and I write it. And I actually end up writing 45,000 words with about 10,000 spell checks. But I printed it at a local Xerox shop, and I sent it to the first publisher that showed up on Google. 1 month later, they wrote back to me saying, bro, we want to publish your book. And I was like, no wonder Chetan Bhagat gets published. Because if I can get published, anybody can get published, right? And this is what the book was called. It's called How I Braved AUNTY and Co-Founded a $1 million company. The reason why I'm talking about my book is because it is the stupidest thing that I've ever done. Because I'm not a writer, and if you were my friend, imagine if I'm meeting you, like, you know, over coffee or something, and you're like, bro, what you're up to these days? Nothing, bro, writing a book about my aunt. Sounds creepy, right? But this book changed my life. After this book came out, suddenly everybody knew about our company, our sales quadrupled. I went and spoke in over 500 schools and colleges. My life became completely different. What was the stupidest decision of my life turned out to be my best. And the book, you know, got on bestsellers list across the country. The best part was I found an auto guy in Bangalore selling my book to me. It sold over 5 lakh copies. But the coolest thing about the book was, about 4 years ago, this guy in Bombay, he calls me, and he's like, dude, I want to make a movie on the book. And I'm like, wow, AUNTY is going to be really famous now. We should definitely do this. And he's like, yeah, right now I'm working on this movie about 2 female wrestlers. I don't know if I should make that movie first or your movie first. And I'm like, you should totally make the female wrestling film first, because that has a big actor, and if that becomes a hit, then our movie can become an even bigger hit. And obviously he goes ahead and makes Dangal, which is the highest grossing film ever made in the history of Bollywood. And can you believe that? The guy who directed Dangal is now going to make AUNTY into a film. Be hungry, be foolish. That's what Steve Jobs said. And trust me, it works. And here is an example of being hungry and being foolish. So always make sure that you keep that close to your heart. I'm going to end my talk with a story. It's the story of my friend Vicky Roy. He was born to a very poor household in Delhi. At the age of 8, he ran away to the New Delhi railway station. There, he worked as a rag picker. Like when you throw away an empty burger box, half-eaten burger, he would go and pick that up from the dustbin and eat. He was that poor. He was living in the New Delhi railway station. It was a very tough life. He used to get beaten up by the police, by fellow rag pickers. He didn't have enough food to eat the entire day, and he used to sell empty water bottles to make a living. At the age of 14, an NGO found him, and they offered him a job to carry tripods for cameramen, and he would do that. And he soon realized, wow, he likes photography, because you can tell an entire story through just one image. He would now pester the photographers whom he's carrying the tripods for to teach him photography. But none of them would agree because, he's just a rag picker. 2 years later, this German photographer comes to Delhi and he's carrying his tripod. And that German photographer takes some pity on him and he starts teaching him basics of photography. Vicky would now collect those empty water bottles for days and not eat, just so that he could rent the camera for 1 day and shoot pictures with it and just have the satisfaction of shooting pictures. 6 years later, Vicky was one of the 6 photographers chosen from across the world to shoot the reconstruction of the World Trade Center, was invited on tea with the Buckingham Palace, and is now one of the biggest photographers in India, earning close to 10 lakh rupees a month. From a guy who didn't have a roof above his head and food to eat, this guy now makes more money than people who have gone to Harvard Business School, right? That's what you can do if you're really passionate about something. And that's what you can do if you have a fire about doing something. I'm going to end my talk with a small note that I wrote. It's been copied by a lot of school principals and parents, but I think this is the right place to say it. It goes like this. Dear parent and dear teachers, the board exams will be coming soon. Now, I know you're really anxious for your child to get a 90%, or to at least beat your neighbor's son or daughter. It's a matter of your reputation and your standing in society. But please remember, amongst the students who's given the exams is an artist who doesn't need to understand math. There's an entrepreneur who doesn't care a damn about history or English literature. There's a musician whose chemistry marks won't matter. There's a sports person whose physical fitness is more important than physics. If your child doesn't get top marks, then great. But he or she doesn't, but please do not take away their self-confidence from them. Tell them it's okay, it's just an exam. They're cut out for bigger things in life. Tell them no matter what they score, you love them and you will not judge them. Please do this, and if you do, watch your children conquer the world. One exam or a 90% won't take away their dreams or their talent.